Hey, here to talk about toddlers today. Toddlers who say no. We've all come across it. And they seem to go through a phase where they just say no to everything. For instance, let's take breakfast. You're offering them everything you can possibly think of for breakfast, and the answer is just no. They're hungry, but the answer is no to everything that you could possibly offer. And it drives parents crazy. I've worked with plenty of them who say that their child is going through a phase. They say no throughout the day. They scream it. They yell. They cry. They whine. Don't seem to know what they want. And it's a fairly common thing with toddlers. So over the years, I've helped quite a few parents as a behavior analyst to overcome that challenging behavior and help make their parenting a little bit more peaceful. Does your toddler scream no or repetitively say no throughout the day? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to discuss what might be causing this behavior, what might maintain it, and then things that you can do to help at least make it happen a little less often and make your life a little easier. So let's dive on in. As a behavior analyst, I am trained to look at the environment that a child is in. And parents are part of that environment because they see them every day, they interact with them every day, and they learn from them, right? You are their entire world when they're tiny. They're mostly exposed to you, or maybe grandparents if they babysit, anyone that they're regularly in contact with. And so your behavior is what they're going to mimic or imitate because you're what they're learning from besides TV. We won't even get into that because there's not much we can do about that except for control what they watch. But as far as their environment goes, the things in their environment and the people in their environment have a direct influence on what they learn and what they do. So when I'm first working with parents on this type of behavior, repetitively saying no, I look at the parents' behavior. I observe them for a while, interacting with their child, see how they play with them, how they communicate with them, how they discipline them. And what I find a lot of the times when I observe is that there's a lot of no going on in the parents' communication. Not that it's a bad thing, I'll get into that in a minute, but it's important to understand and be self-aware as a parent and really begin to notice what words you're using with your toddler, because chances are you're seeing it reflected right back at yourself, and that includes sarcasm and arguing, but that's a whole different video. So let's get back to no. A lot of parents just say no when their toddler is doing something they're not supposed to do. And toddlers are toddlers, and they're still learning the rules of the world, of the home, of the community, and so they're always getting into things that they're not supposed to because they either don't care or they think it's worth getting in trouble for, or they really just don't know. And what I observe a lot of the time when I'm trying to understand what kind of causes the behavior, because I need to understand what causes it in order to make it stop or at least decrease, is that I find parents say no whenever their toddler is about to jump on the couch. Maybe they've pulled a chair up to the counter and they're climbing onto it. Another instance where I hear no is if they're yanking a toy from their siblings' hands, if they're hitting their dog trying to get their attention, if they're pushing someone. Sometimes they do that. So there's, broad range of behaviors, and so parents tend to find themselves screaming no at their child a lot. No, no, I said no, stop it. I said no, you can't have that. You need to stop. There's a lot of that. And if that's what your child is hearing, then your child understands that when you are frustrated with them or you want them to stop something or you're upset with them, first of all, to speak in that tone of voice and to use that language. And so that's why you hear it spoken back to you a lot. So your toddler's going to say stop at you, is going to say no repetitively when he's angry or frustrated with you. And that is a direct result of the behavior that he has seen adults engage in. That's what he learns from. So let's talk about saying no. I'm not saying that you shouldn't say no to a kid. You should. Other people are going to. They need to get used to it. It's a part of life. We all get no told to us. But I think that sometimes we overdo it, and it also depends on how you present the no. So if you walk up to the counter at Starbucks and you order a type of coffee, probably a bad example because I don't drink coffee, but let's say that I do order a specific coffee that I love, and they're out of whatever syrup they put in it. They're going to say, sorry, we don't have that, but you can have this, this, or this. So they're going to give me other options. If I go to Target and I'm looking for a heated blanket, that happened to me recently, and they were out, and I was so sad. And if you ask, one of the employees, hey, do you have any more heated blankets in the back? They might say, no, but we do have them at another store. Do you want me to find you one, or we can order it for you online? So you're usually given other options. And that's what I try to explain to parents about saying no. It's fine to say it, but provide other choices instead. It's a normal part of life, and it's going to help redirect them to something more appropriate instead of just hearing no without any other options. They're still young, still learning how to navigate what the rules are, what they can do, what they can't do, and what's allowed in each different setting, right? Because if something you can do at home, it may not be something that you can do at the doctor's office while you're waiting. And so you as an adult are more aware of what their choices are, and they're going to have a harder time coming up with ideas. So it's a little bit more work on your part, but you're helping to teach your child important skills that, they'll catch on to, and you won't have to worry about in the future. So more peaceful parenting. It's what you want. And if you're looking to cut down on saying no, you can simply phrase it differently. A really common way to put it is to say, let's do this, then we can do this. So let's put on our pajamas, then we'll read a book before bed. Let's clean up the toys, then we can go make cookies. So if you phrase it that way, list the thing that you need to do or you need them to do, and then let them know what's coming next, it's a good way to get them to listen and makes it less likely for them to say no because you're already telling them what's coming up next. And if you make sure that the next thing is something that they prefer, then there's a higher likelihood that they're going to go along with it. Unless, of course, they're having a difficult day, but that's just the way it is sometimes. I don't need to tell you. Toddlers go through mood swings. I know I say this in every video, but it's true. The best that you can do is just change your behavior to make it more likely for them to listen. And it is effective. I do this all the time. I work with parents to teach them these techniques, and I use them myself because I provide therapy for kids with autism that have challenging behaviors. Instead of saying no, you can also say, we're all done with this, but we can go do this or this. Or you can say, it's not time to have bananas right now. You've already had 4 of them. This literally recently happened with my nephew. I was talking to my sister through FaceTime, and she's like, he's had 5 bananas. He's asking for another one. He cannot have more bananas. And so I was like, okay, well, you can offer him 2 other snacks. And she was like, no, he's had 5 bananas. He doesn't need more snacks. I was like, that makes sense. So instead I had her offer him choices of 2 other activities to do. He went right along with it. I wish we had taped it. That would have helped if I could have included it, huh? Sorry. I'll work on that in the future. But she simply said, it's not time for bananas right now. You can either watch TV or go play with your Toy Story toys. And he said, okay. And he made a choice, easy peasy. So a lot of the time they're very easily redirected if you give 2 other options that you know that they're interested in. So let's talk about when they do say no, because like I mentioned, it's going to happen. They're going to yell no. They're going to say no over and over again. It's just a fact of life. What can you do about it? The best thing to do is to understand that it's what we call junk behavior. They're just doing it to get a rise out of you, to get your attention, good or bad, to get you to argue back. If they're upset with you, maybe they want to make you upset with them so that you can feel how they're feeling, and they want you to understand how they're feeling. So it's just junk behavior. They're looking for a rise out of you. Don't give it to them. It's better to just ignore it. Ignore junk behavior. It's perfectly fine to validate their feelings, as silly as that might sound, but you could say, yeah, I get it. I would be sad too. I like gummy bears, but I can't eat them all the time either. And it's okay if it makes you sad. But we can have them again later. For now, we can do this or do this. So you want to ignore the junk behavior. You want to provide choices, as I mentioned, but even though you're ignoring the behavior, you're not ignoring your child. You're simply reiterating what their choices are. You're sticking to your guns, so you're being consistent and you're following through. And if you do this every single time, your toddler will learn that it just won't work with you anymore. Yelling no isn't going to get you to give in, and that's the important part. And it's going to make your parenting easier and more peaceful because they will stop saying no. If it doesn't work for them, it'll stop eventually. It might take a few weeks. I don't ever say this is quick and easy. It is fairly simple, right? But it can be a bit of a pain for you because you have to be consistent over time. But it will work. A couple of weeks. Some kids are faster at learning this. Some kids are just more stubborn. I've worked with plenty of kids who are stubborn and it takes a couple of months. But it just depends on whether it's a priority for you. If it's a priority for you because you're tired of hearing him scream no, maybe he's being rude to other people by saying no to them or her, then maybe that's something you don't mind sticking to your guns to and being consistent with for a few weeks if you know that in the end it will get better. Have you tried this before but have had trouble, doing it every time? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. My goal is just to help make your life easier. It's to get you to peaceful parenting where you can enjoy quality time with your family, where you don't resort to yelling or losing your mind, and you can just enjoy spending time with them, which is such a big deal. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about anything I mentioned in this video. I put out a video once a week, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like so you don't miss any of them in the future. I cover a lot of different topics that come up with toddlers, such as potty training or challenging behaviors they might engage in. So hitting, having difficulty sharing, sleeping issues, a broad range of topics because I've worked on all of these things for the past 10 years that I've been doing this. So love it if you join me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.